So I've been experimenting with these kind of um, vocalization chains where I'm trying to take the source that I have and I don't know, give them even more of a vocal character. One of these I briefly showed in the previous video, but I thought I'll go through it a little bit more slowly, and I've also done another chain that I can quickly showcase. So yeah, let's have a look. So for example, the idea is to have source like this, like pretty standard, pretty boring slime. Not really necessarily a vocalization type of sound, but could be used for it. But I wanted to try and give it some more character out of the box, and hopefully include this in like a design section or something. So here's the first chain from the previous video. Again, the original sample. So yeah, it's giving it a lot of that kind of open mouth snarling sound, which is pretty cool. Oh my god, too many windows. There we go. Okay, so this is fairly simple, I guess. I have vocal synth. I'm using the vocoder and the polyvox modules. That's what it sounds like, completely wet. I'm not too sure about the polyvox. Well, I'm not completely sure about this whole thing. So I have it like 50% wet. I guess it's there to just give it a little bit more bite in the higher register. What I usually do is use the epoxy house preset or whatever this kind of is. I don't know, I've not really ever used this properly. I don't know what many of these things do, but sounds pretty cool. Drop the pitch to low. If I just... This is mainly the texture that I'm going for, that kind of cool throaty gargle. And yeah, the polyvox doesn't sound good. Well, anyways, it's there. Then frequency shifting if needed. Supposedly kind of tone down the resonances. Formant filter controlled by the input signal. I guess it's just a matter of experimentation to find the right kind of curve for it. I think I'm doing both the Y and X. Yeah, so it's going in a curve. And it's not completely wet. But I mean, might as well be since it's not like 90%, but whatever. I don't think I have that on. Crystallizer if I want to give it some depth, but usually it just makes things a little bit muddy. supposedly some extra filter movement with Filter Freak 2. Then just bass. So I guess Unfilter here is doing a lot of the kind of throaty sound, but I really kind of don't know what it's doing. I just set the random filtering preset, and I guess it's doing what it says it does. And then I just drive the process or the intensity knob again with the input signal. So oh no, what the hell? So honestly, I don't know if it's doing that much, like the input signal stuff. I guess it makes it a little bit more wobblier, but yeah, this is not like some kind of secret technique. It's very random. M ratio sometimes to clean it up, and that was it. It works really well for some source, and for some maybe not that well, but can sound a little bit artifacty, but adds a nice cool tonality to it. So definitely useful in designs, like I showed the first thing of the video was a video. What the fuck am I saying? In the example design, doing building blocks like this can be helpful. It's a little on the nose by itself, but yeah, in a design could be cool. Then the other chain. So this, I was watching what do you call it? Bass music growl tutorial from AU5, I think. I'll link the video in the description. So I'm not gonna pretend that I came up with all of this, and it is very much trying to follow the like basic principles of making like a growl synth or like a bass, but then I couldn't be arsed to follow the tutorial like letter by letter, so my EQs look awful, and they are not like, oh, here's the fundamental and then I should probably set the notches here. I don't know how to do that, so they're pretty random, but they sounded good enough for now. Definitely a pain in the ass to set this all up. So anyways, let's have a look. So I just have some cleanup here. I started with the Filter Freak, doing like a low pass, band pass, sweep in the low mids. First I had this just automating, but then who does that? I don't. So now it's again tied to the parameter modulation. The reason why I'm not using just the envelope of Filter Freak is that I tied all of the other modulation after this plugin into this knob, and then if I use the envelope, this knob actually doesn't move, it just moves the filter, but I needed this to physically to move. So this is controlling everything, basically, or all of the modulation for this chain. So then we have a sweep coming in from the highs and just low pass going down. Phaser, playing with the phaser cutoff. Let's remove these so I can turn these on and off. Okay, if we go to the beginning, That's just a filter freak. Then the first EQ, the phaser. And we're only modulating the cutoff. Which was a new trick for me. I think that sounds pretty cool. Adds a lot of depth and kind of wet growliness to it. So yeah, that's cool. Then a random notch. I apparently only did this one in this EQ. So why not? Jumping to the low mids. I guess the problem with driving this by the input amplitude is that a lot of these are very steady sounds, so it might be a little bit too stagnant if you really want to have like a lot of movement in the growls. So you might have to automate this. Then this monstrosity, I have 3 bands kind of fighting each other, and they're supposedly moving. Supposedly. Then this one is also driven by the input amplitude, but on top of it there's just a constant LFO going on, so adding a little bit of random movement. Then another one of these again, if we do oh lord, oh my god, a little bit more volume changes, then you can kind of really hear it work. But yeah, manually setting all of this is kind of painful, so if there's like a filter for this probably in Serum and a lot of synths, I guess maybe have like that yoi or vowel kind of filters, so that's what I'm trying to emulate, but this is just kind of random stuff. Then we have vocal synth. I just realized, is this super quiet? I'll drop that. And yeah, now I'm just using the vocoder and driving up the mix based on the amplitude. So again, up to your judgment if it's adding much. Then OTT. I guess the problem with boosting a lot of these frequencies like this is that, you know, then they stand out and it's weird. So a multiband smash will kind of help bring everything back down. Or rather, the other things up, because now I'm doing only upward compression. Bass. Distortion sounds a little bit too distorted. Disperser, because why not? Unfiltered to kind of tame the low mids of the super gargly aggressive stuff. The mug EQ for air, but you can use normal EQ, I'm sure. I guess that was kind of it. So yeah, processing various bits through that. Again, some bits work a little bit better than others, but there's definitely some usable stuff that I got out of this. And okay, take a second quickly. And yeah, this is kind of the design I did with those, and then random bits from the library that I've got so far. And I guess I might as well kind of go through this. Let's have another listen. Cool. So for the pre-hit, well, it's not really a pre-hit, but the initial roar, got a layer like this. This is some stuff that I processed through one of the vocalization chains. That's a cool vocal-like texture to it. One of the pre-designed things that I've done for the library, I think this was the first one that I did, because I found that this is like exactly why I wanted to have these, is when you have these big screams, usually just need some kind of a organic impact to really give it like attack and that burst of energy. So yeah, one of the pre-designed things for the library. That's me screaming into slime through a whistle. Pretty interesting source when you pitch it down, otherwise sounds insane. Then more slime gargled through the processing chains. Probably the same. Yeah. Some of the slimy stuff. And yeah, same thing here. Oh, this has the chain still on it, so we can A/B. So that's just the raw recording, and here's the chain at work. So yeah, I think it adds a nice gargly texture to things. Oh. Then we have like an inhale. Some bubbly stuff. Like a breath from the screamy slime recordings. Some wet crackly stuff that I've yet to properly clean up. Air haze. What's this? Some pretty nasty sounding stuff, but it works in context. And a lot of this is unprocessed. I think I would process this a little bit further, but I kind of wanted to show what I've got in the library and just showcase the vocal processing chains. Then like a little rubber glove impact thing. Pretty cool for like a what do you call it? I don't know. It's not a sneeze, but breathing out thing. Then attack. This is like the book cover or the notebook cover, Growls, with the vocalizer processing. I'll just call it that. Yeah, sounds like some kind of weird dog or something. Some more wet stuff. Then the impact is mostly made from, again, kind of like the pre-designed stuff. The few impacts that I've designed already. This kind of stuff is always helpful for like attack. And then for the main scream, can have a listen to it on its own. Some basic air hiss screams. This is some of the plastic sheet bowing recordings that I've done. Maybe adds a little bit of a howl into the attack. Then another air hiss thing. This was again something through the vocalizer. The first vocalizer chain. Sounds pretty cool when it's pitched down. More of the plastic sheet. This is some slime brams. Yep, I'm sure Hans Zimmer would be very jealous of these brams. But it's good for creatures. This one just has some distortion and tremolo. This is not doing anything. Some bubbles with crystallizer, disperser, bass. Nothing cool to see here, just for extra detail and kind of like the book end out of the vocal. This is something that I realized I probably need more variations of, because this was a very specific one snippet of a sound where which sounded like a very haunting scream. that had kind of like the right tonality and projection in it, so it's pretty cool for it's pretty subtle, like it somehow fades into the vocal, but when you have it you really kind of notice that. It's like missing a lot of power. Some clicky bubble stuff, an empty track, because why not? And the main scream I think is maybe like gargle. Let's see if we can recreate this. Do it here. Yeah, I think it's just that source in this chain. Something crazy going on with the stereo width though, but that's the basic idea. So yeah, pretty successful experiment in my books. Pretty happy with the results, and yeah, I'll just start designing some stuff from that and try and add it to the library, and see you next time, I guess.